Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Pick My Brain. This is Wednesday, the 25th of January, 6 p.m., and I welcome everyone and hope that we can have a nice little conversation tonight. What I'd like to start out with is by telling you some upcoming things. Most importantly, next week, a week from Wednesday, I will be at the Long Beach Coin Show, so I will not be having a live stream on next Wednesday night. So I will have one 2 weeks after that, and I'll try to. I might even have one, maybe an exclusive one over the weekend or something, where I can give you an idea of what happened at the show. The Long Beach Expo is one of the biggest shows in the nation, and this is the first big show after the fun show in early January. So a lot of people are excited about being there and finding out, a little bit more about the state of the market. Since January, the gold and silver prices have really taken off, and that usually is a good sign for the coin business because most coin dealers make a lot of their money buying and selling bullion coins, and then they plow the profits from the bullion coins back into rare coins. So we'll see how much of an effect that actually has on the show, but it's a good thing. For some reason, there's a thing called the Long Beach curse, and that is that at every Long Beach, for some reason, the gold and silver prices always seem to tank, and it just puts a damper on the show. Every once in a while, we have an exception, and hopefully next week will be the exception. The Long Beach show boasts about 400 dealers from around the country and the world. And as I said, it's one of the better shows of the year. So I encourage any of you to get to it if you can. If you're in the Long Beach area, this is the LA area, it's a really great show. I will be there walking the floor. I don't think I'm taking a table this time, but I'll be there Wednesday, Thursday, and maybe Friday. If you're at the show and you want to hook up, just page me over the intercom, or you can call me. You can go to my website, germancoins.com, for my phone number, and you can reach me while I'm on the floor. I'd love to meet up with you, maybe take a selfie, and we could put it in one of our future reports, and just talk to you and answer any questions you might have about coins. Let me tell you a little bit about the Long Beach Expo and why you should go. The setup for the Long Beach show is on Wednesday. Dealers set up at noon. The early bird dealers set up are allowed in at 2 o'clock. In my last video, I mentioned that I recommended that everyone, if you can afford it, get a early bird badge so that you can get in the show early. The early bird badges, if you order them online at Long Beach Expo, they are $100. If you wait till the show itself, it's another $25, so it'd be $125 to get in the show. Is it worth the money? It absolutely is, because all the deals that are taking place, they take place at the beginning of the show, and by the end of the show, most of the good deals are gone. There's still some good deals there, depending on what you're looking for. But if you get an early bird badge, that gives you a leg up on pretty much anybody else except for the dealers. A lot of the dealers don't even show up till 2 o'clock. So you might have a chance to buy some coins at very favorable prices. And you also will have a chance to see things that you may not see, because once they're sold, and they go into a dealer's inventory, many times they're taken back home, and the coins just simply disappear off the market. So it's a good idea to get there early. There's a couple things going on at the show, and one is the Heritage Auction. There will be lot viewing at the show, and that is a tremendous way for you to learn how to grade and to practice your grading skills. And I've mentioned that before. You simply go into the room where they show the lots. They welcome everyone. You register for the auction. They'll give you a bidder number and a catalog, and then you can go look at all the lots. And this is a way to see coins that you would probably never get to see in your lifetime. In other words, coins that are six figures, $100,000 coins. You and I aren't walking around with a box of these things, and in most cases, the coins show up so infrequently that you really never have a chance to see them. But this is a good chance for you to go in the auction room and say, "Hey, I'd like to see whatever, the 1804 dollar, if there is one." And they might have security, but you will be given the opportunity to see that particular coin. As far as learning how to grade goes, it's very instructive to look at each coin in the auction and examine it relative to the picture that's in the catalog. Pictures, they say that it is good as 1,000 words, but when you see the coin in real life, it'll give you a much better idea of what it looks like. Pictures can be deceiving, not purposely so, but when you see the actual coin, you say, wow, that doesn't look like the picture, or it does look like the picture. So it's a very instructive way to learn about what these coins look like. When you look at each coin, you pull it out of the box, stick your thumb over the grade on the holder, and then you examine the coin and you give an estimation of what you think the grade should be. Then you compare your mental grade with the actual grade on the coin and see how close you are to what we call the line or the actual grade. The closer you get and the more frequently you get, that's a good thing. That means you're starting to learn how to grade like the graders do at PCGS or NGC or ANAX. So take advantage of that opportunity if you can. PCGS and ANAX will be grading coins at the show. And I always recommend, if you have coins that are high value, that you have them graded at a show. In general, the best graders go to the show, and these are the graders that know what they're doing. When they look at a coin, they're not afraid to give it the right grade. A lot of new graders or younger graders tend to be more conservative, and they will not be as generous with the grades. In other words, you would most likely be disappointed in the grades. So it's an opportunity for you to have the best graders look at your coins. It costs money. I mean, I don't know what the show grade charge is, but it used to be $100 a coin. It might be $125 a coin. And on really rare coins, there is a value added fee that's based on the value of the coin. But in general, I recommend that people with high value coins get them graded at the shows. It's the best way to do it. If you get them there early enough, you can actually pick them up at the show. If not, PCGS will ship them to you for a fee, of course. As I mentioned, PCGS and NGC will be their grading coins. I don't believe NGC will be grading on site this time. They might have a table there, but maybe not grading on site. Let's see. He opens at noon. Oh, here's another thing that's going to be really worth the trip. The Tyrant collection is going to be on display there, and this time they're grading coin, or they're displaying coins from Mexico and Brazil. If you're familiar with the Tyrant collection at all, it was put together and is being put together by Dan O'Dowd, who is a very famous software developer, and he quietly for many years put together what has been described as the most valuable coin collection in the world. And it is simply amazing. Over the past couple of years, the Tyrant collection has exhibited portions of the collection. And like at one show, we saw the early US coins, and then we saw British coins. And I think ancient coins have been on display. No matter what, it is absolutely mind-blowing. I'm a seasoned numismatist, whatever that means. And when I look at this collection, to me, it's just amazing what Dan has put together. I think the one time that I saw it, or one of the times that I saw it, he had multiple 1875 $10 gold pieces, which is a extremely rare date, and he had multiple examples. So if you're looking for one of those, you know where they are. But that's worth a trip just to see that. The Mexican and Brazilian coins, I don't know that much about those, so I can't really tell you what's going to be on display. But I can tell you that whatever it is going to be phenomenal, and they'll be extremely valuable coins, extremely rare coins. All of them are certified, and it is just an amazing opportunity to see coins that, again, you won't see anywhere or anytime else. So definitely try to make it to the show to see um, the Tyrant collection. It's really a neat deal. Okay, we've covered the opening, we've covered the grading. Let's see what else we got here. That's it for that. Okay, if you have a question, please post it. I'd love to answer your question. I don't care what you think about it, whether you think it's a dumb question. There are no such things as dumb questions here. So I want you to feel free to post your question, and I will do my very best to answer it. Now, you can see in my video here, this is a 1793 half cent that was done in macrame by friends of artist friends back in 1979. This was when I got married to my current wife 43 years ago. And as a gift, she had them make this macrame 1793 half cent. Let me see if I can shift that over and give you a better idea of it. Yeah, there you might be able to see it a little bit better. Anyway, I'm really happy to have that hanging in my house. It was sort of hidden away in storage for a little while, so it's good to have it up and hang because it's really a neat item. Certainly one of a kind. Let me tell you a little bit also about the Heritage auction. This time around, Heritage is offering some more of the Tom Bender collection. They call it the Bender Family Collection, and it is going to be a really neat deal. I can talk to you about some of the particular coins. It looks like there's going to be Indian pennies, some really nice Indian head pennies. Some of these have already been sold, or portions of these have already been sold. There's a really nice dime collection, early capped bust dime collection. This is from 1809 to 1837-ish. And even beyond, I believe that Mr. Bender collected the seated Liberty dimes by Fortin number. Fortin is Jerry Fortin, who has an online encyclopedia of die varieties for dimes. And so that's going to be part of this deal. And again, these are all top-notch coins, phenomenal condition rarities. And then also there's going to be some more of Mr. Bender's $3 gold coins, and these are the proofs. These are of particular interest to me because I had the opportunity to do some of the census building for Heritage. You'll see in some of the descriptions the censuses that I built for them for these very special coins. The 1855 S proof $3 gold piece is being offered. That's a unique coin and should bring a really good price. I've got a question here from Robert Castling. Bob, good to see you. Thanks for showing up. He said, how or does a coin's provenance affect its value? When we talk about provenance, we're talking about prior owners of a particular coin. And that's a really good question because provenance in the art world is used as a means of sort of guaranteeing the authenticity of the coin. You know, it was owned by the Metropolitan Museum of Art and deaccessioned and sold. So, you know, that's a good provenance. The same thing with coins. If a collector, an old-time collector from 100 years ago had a particular coin in his collection, then that's a really good thing. That's a good sign. And what we could do is we can take a coin and take the current image of the coin and go back as far as we can to try to determine who owned the coin. Now, not all names, not all provenances are that important. But when you're talking about names like Louis Eliasberg, the Norweb family, Dr. Ducker, when it came to half dollar, Barber half dollars, and St. Gaudens $20 gold pieces. Eric Newman was a big name. Donald Partrick just sold or has sold in the past several years his colonial coin collection. When you get names like that, first of all, those were major events. If you were around in 1982 when the Louis Eliasberg gold coins were sold, this is the first complete collection of U.S. gold coins ever sold. It was a standing room only event. I mean, everybody who was anybody was there and trying to buy coins from this collection because they had been off the market for 10, 20, 30, 40 years. So it was a major event. Same thing when the Pittman coins sold. I was fortunate enough to be the auctioneer for the foreign coins, and they went absolutely bonkers, and the room was full. It was really a neat deal. Things have changed a little bit in the sense that, these events are no longer these big standing room only events. Most of the time, the auctions now are held, most of the bidding is done online, but you will have a number of important people if they want to really control their bidding and how they buy coins out of the auction. They'll actually go to the sale. If it's held in conjunction with like the Long Beach sale, they'll be there. But either way, these big name events and these big names that are attached to coins can really add to the value of the coin. A lot of people say, well, I would like to own a coin that was once owned by Louis Eliasberg or Norweb or you name it. And people actually collect provenances, and they will pay a premium to get that provenance added to their coin. So yes, provenance does affect the value, usually in a very positive way. I can't think of any negatives, except that, maybe it's just not a very famous name. But if it's a famous name, it's going to really, in my opinion, add to the value of the coin. So yeah, that's a good question. Bob asks another question: which prominent past collectors add the most to a coin's provenance? I'm having to look back and forth here because my camera is blocking the chat. Some of the names I just mentioned, the Eliasberg is a big one, Norweb, Pittman. Like right now, the Bender family collection. The Bender family collection is a huge, huge collection, extremely valuable, really great coins, high value coins. And I think they're going to be a pedigree that down the road people are going to want. Bob Simpson put together a phenomenal collection. He's primarily known for his collection of pattern coins, but he also has, proof gold coins and just, phenomenal coins. Eugene Gardner is another name. Now, Bob, I know you have a certain area of collecting, and in that area, names like Zabriskie are big. Clifford Kagan are big names. Dr. Allen was prominent with Beckler gold coins. The Riverboat collection. I mean, there's some really neat collections of territorial gold coins that I think can really add to the value of a particular coin. Eliasberg had some territorials. So yeah, there are some names that will tend to bring more value than others. Now, maybe someday your name, and I'm talking about you in the audience, you might have a coin or your name might become famous enough today, because of some accomplishment. And it doesn't have to be a giant one. For instance, let's say you collect Vermont coppers. There's 39 different die varieties. A couple of them are very rare, but it's entirely possible that you could put together a collection of all 39 varieties. And if you continued working on that for a number of years, it could end up being the so-and-so collection of Vermont coppers. It's not unusual for that to happen. One thing that can help you to promote your provenance is that when you achieve 95% completion, PCGS will add your name to the paper insert when you have your collection graded. Now, I experienced that back in 2012. I'd completed a collection of German 5 marks, and we needed an exhibit at the ANA, and we just couldn't get anybody at the last minute. So I said, well, I'll just get all my coins graded and have them put on display. And PCGS did that for me. It costs money, it's just the grading fee, but it doesn't cost extra for the provenance name on the insert. But we did 150 coins maybe, and put them all on display, and it was well received. And I now have some coins still left. Some of them have been sold, but I still have coins that have my provenance on them. So whether that adds value or not, I don't really know, but maybe someday your name can be attached to a coin, and that would make it more valuable. On a different subject, one of the questions I get quite frequently is, should I clean my coins? And I think in a previous video, I talked about how people love original crust on coins. And when I talk about crust, I'm not talking about dirt or actual crust. I'm talking about just the patina that develops over the years on coins that have been carefully preserved and not messed with. And messed with means cleaning. When people say, should I clean my coin before I bring it in to show to you? I say, absolutely not. Because the worst thing you can do is clean a coin and possibly damage it, which will have a huge impact on grade. And I've mentioned before that collectors prefer the more original, the better. They'll pay big premiums for original coins. So do not clean your coins. There are plenty of examples of coins that have been ruined by people who have cleaned them. And I'm talking about really valuable coins. I think there was a 6-figure $20 gold piece that someone cleaned, and it took it down to $4,000 or $5,000. I mean, it was a total bad deal. So do not clean your coins. Now, on the other hand, when dealers get your coins, most of the time they will clean them. And by cleaning them, I mean they're doing proper conservation. They're doing proper removal of toning, removal of dirt, but they know what they're doing. And in most cases, it will not damage the coin. When PCGS gets coins to be graded, and NGC, they look at coins to see if they've been cleaned. Cleaning can be as subtle as some tiny hairlines where maybe a spot was removed. And so you have to be really careful. I mean, even if it's subtle, they're going to kick it out. Now that's a lot different than a coin that's been harshly polished, but I can guarantee you that if the coin's cleaned, it's going to get in a details holder, UNC details cleaned, and the value of the coin will be less than if it was in a straight grade holder, say an MS63 with no details. And so you want to be very careful about cleaning coins. If you would like to have a coin cleaned and you're unsure about how to do it, send it to PCGS or NGC. They have conservation services where if they deem that the coin is able to be conserved, they will do that for you for a fee, and then it will grade the coin, and you're good to go. That's the safest way, in my estimation, to do it if you don't know how to clean a coin properly. One of these days, I'll do a video about proper coin cleaning, although that's like giving a Formula One car to a teenager. There's going to be trouble. So I have to be careful about how I do that. I have another question from Bob. Let's see. Look into regulated gold coins. Is there a database of provenance for the regulated coins of the 18th century? Nothing on PCGS website or internet. I don't know of any public databases of regulated gold. What a regulated gold coin is, and that's a great question because most people don't know what a regulated gold coin was. Back in the early days of our country, back when we were colonies, even back before we had a federal government, coins circulated and were valued based on their silver or gold value. In other words, it didn't matter what the coin was or where it was from or what the grade was. They were pretty much valued based on weight. So, in other words, let's say a Portuguese coin came in, a Portuguese gold coin came in, and it was underweight, which means that it had been so worn that it might not meet the standard. Like in New York, for instance, the doubloon was worth $16, and that was a statutory value. But if a coin came in that was underweight, it obviously would not be worth $16. And it would be very dangerous for you as a customer to accept a Portuguese underweight gold coin because you would be losing the difference in value between the properly weighed coin and one that wasn't, that was underweight. So what a lot of the goldsmiths did was they would, let's say, drill the hole out of the center of the coin, put a plug in there that raised the weight of the coin, and they would stamp the plug with their hallmark. And so you'll see a lot of these coins that will have the hallmark of, say, Ephraim Brazier, the guy who made the Brazier doubloons. You might see there's Philip Singh. There's a number of different goldsmiths whose hallmarks appear on what we call regulated gold. And the purpose of the regulation was to bring it into the statutory value. And so you'll see underweight coins that have been, let's say, had the plug added, or you might have an overweight coin that would have had some of the metal shaved off of it, but then it was punched by this hallmark. Now, that didn't guarantee that after the hallmark was added that gold could be taken off of the coin. And that was one of the reasons why silver and gold coins had edge ornamentation. The reason for that was so that you could tell if somebody shaved off some of the coin. And, you know, if you shaved off a small amount of silver or gold from coins and you did it enough times, you'd have quite a bit of value. But edge reading will tell you right away, you know, if it's missing, something's been taken off the coin. So, yeah, that could have happened after the coins were regulated. But that was the chance you took back then. If you didn't have your own scale, you trusted that these goldsmiths were valid and that this coin was of the proper statutory weight. Now, these are all quite rare. Most of them have been destroyed over the years because they weren't really pretty coins. I mean, they're usually worn coins and they're damaged in some way or another. And then, of course, they have the hallmark. So what people used to consider ugly or unacceptable got destroyed. But nowadays, people understand what these things are and how rare they are, and they're extremely valuable, and people love to collect them. So to answer your question, Bob, is there a database for these things? Not that I know of. I know that there are individuals who have been keeping track of all the different iterations, the different goldsmiths, and the different denominations, the countries that issued gold coins that were regulated. So somebody out there knows it. They may be keeping their cards close to their chest. They're not publishing the information. But somewhere it's out there, and maybe someday they will publish, and you and I can have a better idea of what's available. Provenance is not such a great thing in the sense that I don't know of any big collections of regulated gold that got broken up where you can point to it and say, oh, the Norwebs had, 15 or 20 different pieces. They might have had one or two individual pieces, and that's about it. So um, one thing you can do is you can go to the websites, like if you go to Heritage's website, and I think if you typed regulated gold coins in their search function, it'll pull up all the ones that they've sold. That doesn't help you with their competitors, but you can do the same searches with, let's say, Stax Bowers or the Goldbergs, and you can sort of see what's out there, and you kind of build your own database. I know that's a lot of work, but if you're going to be serious about collecting these things, you want to make sure they're valid. There was an issue a couple years ago where people were buying old world gold coins from the period when coins were being regulated, and this would be in the late 1700s. And then they were putting fake hallmarks on them to really increase the value dramatically. I mean, they could literally turn a $5,000 coin into a $50,000 coin. And some eagle-eyed collector caught it. I don't know how they did it, but they noticed that these coins were coming up. And then when they did a search on the coin, they realized that, it had sold 2 years prior in another auction. And there's no way that coin could have been regulated in 1787 because it was sold unregulated 2 years ago. So yeah, you do have to be careful about that. One of the best recommendations I can give you is if you're going to buy regulated gold at all, stick with somebody who really knows what they're doing and is reliable and offers a lifetime guarantee of authenticity. You don't want to buy a piece of regulated gold for $50,000 and then 20 years from now find out that it's not genuine. If you do buy one, I would recommend having it certified if it's not already certified. That's another layer of protection for you, and that is advice I give to anybody that buys a high-value coin. But regulated coins are very interesting. You can look them up and see for yourself the stories. They usually get big write-ups when they're sold, so you can learn a lot about them just by reading the catalogs from where they come from. What else is coming up? The Long Beach show is coming up. I just received notice through the Asylum that Steve Ellsworth and Gary Atkins, I think, are partners on a new show that's coming up in June, I believe it is. And it is going to be a new show, an international show. Right now, the biggest international show, at least in America, is the New York International Show. And that's a very popular show because it's very easy for dealers from overseas to get to it. It's right in New York City. They can fly directly from Europe to get there. They also come from Russia, from just about every country on Earth. And that's a really good show. But in America, we used to have the Chicago International Coin Fair, and that was, I think it was in May of the year, and that was a good show too, and that has sort of gone by the wayside. But if this new show is successful, it's going to be in Nashville, Tennessee, which is kind of an odd venue for an international show, but it is, if anybody can pull it off, Steve Ellsworth, who is a friend of mine and someone I've known for decades, past president of the ANA, he will be running the show, and he is, if you Google him, he's written articles in the past about coin security when you're going to coin shows, how to travel securely, things to do and not to do to make sure you're not robbed or lose coins on the way to the show. So I think he's going to do a really bang-up job. I'm probably going to be there. I think I want to give it a shot and see how he does. So that's coming up. What else is coming up? Of course, there's auctions all the time. Goldberg's have a pre-Long Beach auction, which I believe is starting this weekend coming up. And then Stack's Bowers has collector's choice auctions. And a lot of these companies now are having auctions about once a week. Legend Rare Coin Auctions just announced a weekly internet auction. Great Collections has auctions every week. Heritage had the Bass sale just a couple days ago. Well, actually, a week or two ago. And now they're coming up on the 9th of February. They're coming up with the rest of the Bender collection that I told you about. And I mean, this is a big sale. It's a very big sale. It should be a lot of, I don't know if there'll be $1 million coins this time, but there will be definitely some six-figure coins that are crossing the auction block. So keep an eye on the auction schedule, and you'll see some really great coins coming up. I don't see any other questions on here. So if you have one, let's go ahead and ask it, because I think I'm going to shut this off early if nobody else is responding. Again, I'm not going to be here next week because of the Long Beach show. Again, if I'm there, feel free to page me over the intercom, and I'd love to meet with you. I met with a couple of collectors down in at the fun show, had a really good time meeting with them, and what I thought was going to be a 15-minute meeting in both cases turned out to be a multi-hour meeting. So you get me talking about coins, and we're both in trouble. So anyway, I hope to see you all sometime, meet you. And if you have any questions after this is over, go ahead and put them in the comments section below, and I'll be happy to answer them. And you can also go to the Ron Guth on Coins or Ron Guth channel on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe if you like the content, and hit the notification bell, because every time I post a new video, you will get a notice from YouTube that a new video has been posted. I've mentioned in the past couple videos about how the traffic to my channel has just dropped off a cliff. It seems to have improved over the last week. So something is doing better. Of course, I'd love to see more. It helps if you hit the subscribe button or hit the like button or leave a comment. That also helps with the algorithm. So if you can do that for me, that would be greatly appreciated. So with nothing else, I'm going to say goodbye, and I hope you all have a wonderful week, 2 weeks, and I'll see you after the Long Beach show with a full report. Thank you, and goodbye.